In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust as the Republic of Mentellect. The real 144,000 is being gathered in this day and time, the mentalists. Menzeka Aminun to all my mentalist brothers and sisters out there, registered members of the Republic of Mentellect, and to all future mentalists who have yet to find their way home to the Republic of Mentellect, which is Amen's community. I send greetings out to you, and I send peace out to you in our Amenic language by saying to you, Menzeka Aminun. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual NUBEN MENKARAYZZ, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing submission. Should women submit to men? This answer is going to surprise you what I'm going to say. The answer is no. No, women should not submit to men. Not at all. Women should transmit to men. Women should transmit to men, not submit to them. Men should transmit to women, not submit to women. There is no submission in real relationships that are fourth dimensional. There's no such thing. You only submit to the things that are submental in this life. That's what you submit to. You submit to the submental. Submit means, or sub means, under the mission of somebody else. That means under the mission of somebody else. What black people have been doing here in America has been a form of submission to the so-called white man. Right? What you so-called black females do when you get with a bunch of directionless, go nowhere Negroes, or these, white boys who cry, these white boys who are having fun with you and whatnot, using you as fun dolls. Most of these males out here, period, who ain't got no real direction, who are not going to uplift you in life. When you get with those type of people, that is submission. You went under somebody else's mission, and if their mission is nothing, then you are submitting to nothing. You are submitting, you are allowing yourself to go under the mission of somebody else. And again, if that person does not have no real mission, no real purpose in life, then you have submitted to nothing. And I say that about a lot of you women who think you getting with these guys out here, right? And you submit to these males. That's why you popping up with this baby, that baby, this baby. You allow yourself to be baby mamas and baby making machines because you fell into submission to somebody who was submental. You fell into submission to a submental person. And I see that as a trend in today's woman, female also. Female and the woman. They fall under the submental submission of these males. They never come into live transmission with a real man. They don't. How it looks when you come into transmission with a man is when the union is working harmoniously in alignment. When it is working in alignment, when you see it as a working order, a working machine, where people ain't got time for emotions and feelings. This is a working machine, something that we're working toward to accomplish something greater. This is where our joy is. This is where our contentment, I should say, is not joy, but our contentment is in working toward something greater for the both of us, where we're both going to become greater and produce greater things from us, i.e. children and things of that nature. That is a form of transmission. That means that our mission has been transacted. Our mission has been transacted, meaning that we have made an exchange, an equal exchange of power, and we have decided in this transmission to take ourselves collectively together as a unit into the next level, as a partnership. We have said the woman sees in the man his ability to lead as the law, and he sees in her ability to establish as the order. Him leading as the law and laying down the law and her establishing as the order is a form of transmission. This is what we do as mentalists in our mergers. This is what we are looking for in our fourth dimensional mergers between man and woman. We ain't looking for nobody submitting. Oh, you was my man. I is your woman, and this, that, and the third, and whatever the case may be. And and I'm, who, because when you start talking about this submission stuff, when you start talking about that, what that breeds is competition between the man and the woman. That's what that breeds. It breeds competition. It breeds resentment from the woman because she starts getting that woman's black liberated woman, that mindset. And oh, I don't want to be up under no man telling me what to do. And then they end up getting with these males who ain't going nowhere. They end up getting with these males and falling under the mental submission of these males who are going nowhere. Right? Who can lead, not leading in any direction. That's what happens. So when you are able to move past that and form a transmission with a partner, with a wife, husband, form a merger, that is an agreement, a mental agreement that says that we have found the highest mentally in what it is, our partner that we wish to, merge with and move with. We have found the most highest mental beings, right? We have found high mental beings to merge with, right? That's what transmission is, right? Transmission, right? Our missions have been transferred toward each other. They are coming into alignment with each other. All of these relationships today are based on somebody trying to get somebody to submit to somebody else. In today's world, you get the man trying to submit to the woman, you get the woman trying to submit to the man, and if the man submits to the woman will say the man is weak. And if he tries to make her submit, she'll say, oh, you trying to control me. You see all that foolishness, games. Bunch of simple-minded, lame, brain, childish games. And that is not something that advanced and supreme beings do. We don't play games. We mean what we say, and we say what we mean. Because we are looking for the ultimate and continuous contentment of growth in our journey here. Because we are going through a journey here. And the best way to make sure that the ride is smooth, that the journey is extended, is by finding someone you transmit with, that you are in transmission with, that you can connect with mentally. For you women, a man who can raise you mentally on a higher level. For a woman, a man who can raise you on a higher level, and for a man, a woman who is receptive to that transmission to raise you along with me and us into a higher state. You see, that has to be the mindset. See, this is the reason why a lot of these females and women, I'm going to say females for now, this is the reason why they stay single. They don't really get into any real relationships. They get into settlemate setups over time because they start getting older and they want to be with somebody, and then they start settling because they never understood the ability to transmit to a higher power, a higher state of being, right? They never understood that. The ability to transmit to a higher power, i.e. your higher self, allowing your higher self to be in alignment and thus bringing Amen out of you, that will bring you into alignment with the partner who will extend you on a high mental level, because you as women, that's all you should seek. That's all you should seek in this life. Y'all are sadly misguided when you seek happiness, because along with happiness comes sadness. You men are sadly misguided when you seek happiness, right? We are seeking ultimate contentment. And how you find ultimate contentment is in people who you can depend on, people who are constant, people who are continuous. What do I mean? I mean people who you can depend on, come rain or shine. See, you women could get into a relationship or a so-called relationship with somebody And you can get bored and go to another relationship with somebody, and you may not know if you can depend on that next person. Hell, you might not have been able to depend on the last person. But you go from person to person to person, and you are so used to jumping from person to person to person. When that person comes who you can depend upon, that person who's continuous, meaning that you can lean on them when you need them, you can stand up on them, they can hold you up and pull you up, and when you need motion and constantly got a plan going to move y'all forward, that is what you should be seeking. You see? Because again, men come and go. Women come and go. Good-looking ones, bad-looking ones, average-looking ones, mediocre-looking ones, sex. That comes and goes, man. That don't mean nothing. You're not going to find in that batch of males or men or females or women, hopefully women and men if you find, you're not going to find dependability, continuousness. People who are going to continue to uplift you. People who are going to continue to move forward into the future. People who are going to continue to grow. So, of course, you want to hitch your wagon to that star of that person who's going to continue to grow. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, is more, I want to say, destructive than hitching your star to somebody who has settled on mediocrity in life. Hitching your star to people who have settled on mediocrity in life is the worst thing you can ever do. That is the longest and boringest and deadest ride you're ever going to get. I can tell you that. Hitching your star, you women, I know that. Hitching your star to a person who's going to have the same job, making the same money over and over and over again, living the same kind of life, not adding nothing to the life. That's slow death. That is slow death. Saying the same things, no next level ideas, no nothing. Just a person who's just a damn drone. A drone who going to work, coming home, screwing you, then going back to work, going to sleep next to you, and that's it. A drone. A drone. And that's what most of these females end up with. They end up with drones. Men who have been stripped mentally. Men who have been stripped mentally. Right? Until now you got a male. And then you see these broken males out here. And they look pathetic trying to get females to submit to them. Or women, or whatever the opposite sex, to submit to them. They don't really approach real women. They approach females to submit. They want females to be in submission. But then something happens. I said sometimes females will wake up and realize that they are submitting to nothing. The average male has nothing to offer because she can do it by herself. All the things that you're asking the female to submit to, she can do on her own. She can work for herself. She can get her own money. She can get her own apartment. Yeah, that's true. She can take care of herself in the system of the so-called white man. Yeah, she can do that. But then when she wants something else, when she wants more, she has to transmit to a man who is able to deliver that. She's going to have to transmit to a man who is able to deliver that. She can only get but so far, just as a man can. When you want to go to that next level in life, the woman starts to transmit. If her mind is right, she starts to emit or transmit a form of light energy or bright energy that will go out, and you will see certain men who are in alignment, who are in tune, who will pick up on that. And she is basically signaling this man or these men, or really one man it could be. She's signaling a man to approach her because she feels or she picks up on that person's brightness or that person's ability to extend. Most of the females out here, they don't run across those types. So they never find a man to transmit to. They end up submitting to a bunch of males. They end up submitting to the dark energy of dead males. Males who just want them for sex, who just want them for mediocre things, who just wants to utilize them and use them. And if you get enough of this dead male energy on you through submission, you will never find the man that you came here to transmit to. You will never find the man that you came here to transmit to when you got all this dead black male energy on you, or white male energy, or whatever male dead energy you got on you. Because that's all that's here, a lot of dead male energy. And women are always trying to ascend. When they're going from that stage of female to woman, when they go into that stage and that next stage and change in their life, they're transmitting. They're looking for better. They're looking for greater. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for a man who knows more than them. Intrinsically, women look for men who know more than them. This is why they transmit to those men. They don't want the average man. You see, women, I'm talking about females who have transformed into women. I'm not talking about females. Females will take anybody. A female will submit to any nigger. Nobody. That's why you see so many baby mamas out here. That is due to lack of esteem, low self-esteem, no self-confidence, no real value or self-worth. You know, at least they don't feel that in themselves, so they submit. Women don't have to submit. Real women don't have to submit. You look at the relation. I just give this as an example because that's real in itself. You could look at a woman who's been with a man for years, right? And they healthy and they happy and they have children and things like that. And there's a good understanding between the two, right? There's a good understanding between the two. They got their children, their family. Like I said, they have. That is because that woman. You could tell when you see things like that, that woman was smart enough to transmit to that type of man. You see, a lot of times you men think that you're picking these women, but no. When women of a form of top-notch woman transmits to you, she's picking you. You're not picking her. She's picking you. She's transmitting to you. And you pick up on it. Because, like I said, and even if you think let's just say you approach the woman, you're really not approaching her, the one who are the real men who are on a higher level mentally for that woman. Even if you say you approach that woman, it's really not you that's approaching her. It is her transmitting to you that you can approach her, that you can say something to her, that you can get something going with her, because she was transmitting for that man to come to her. I told you, every woman gets to a certain age in their life, or a female gets to a certain age, or some, like I said, some of them will change, some of them will stay females, and they'll keep submitting to males, and they'll keep getting this dead black energy, right? Because again, submission is a frequency. Just like transmission is a frequency, submission is a low frequency. Submission is a frequency or energy you put out, and you get a whole bunch of submental and submissive people who will answer that frequency. This is why you have so many baby mamas. So many deadbeat daddies, nothing Negroes, broken homes, because we have channeled our energy on a state of submission. We have channeled it down low to a state of submission, not a state of transmission where there's an ultra-standing, an extended ultra-standing of what we're here for. We're not here to degrade each other. We're not here to tear each other down. I'm not here to, all that brute stuff. I ain't got to do all that. We ain't got to do all the cavemen. You see, real men ain't cavemen. They lords, and they move like lords, and they expect their women to walk next to lords and lordesses. You see, there's an ultra-standing there. We don't do the low-level thing. We don't do the caveman, cavewoman thing. We move like lords, and that's power in motion. That's ultra-standing comprehension to the highest in motion. How they say what's said don't have to be explained, because you can see it in people when men and women are in alignment together. On code, as certain people say, you can tell, because the woman transmitted to that man a long time ago, this is the path I want to take with you. She transmitted that to him. And he transmitted back to her, okay, let's go. Let's go. But she had to make sure that he would be continuous. He would be continuous. She could depend on him. She can look to him for knowledge, for understanding, more vision, to help extend her vision. Because as I said before, and I'll say it again, the woman is tied in through her father. All women who become women with extended vision, you are so because you were tied into your father, not because of your mother. Your mother is supposed to be tied in through her father. You see? You tied in through your father. Some are not tied in through their father. They end up getting tied in through their mother, and those are the ones who stay females. They never evolve into women. They never evolve into women. They stay females because they're tied into their mothers who are emotional, and their mothers are used to being in submissive and submental relationships. So they end up what's the word I want to say? They end up morphing into their mothers. They end up morphing into their mothers, and that mental connection with their father is cut if it was ever established in the first place. When a woman knows how to transmit to a man, even if she hasn't had a man around her, a real man around her, father, whatever, when she knows how, that means that the whole of her father has taken connection in her in order for her to recognize a real man. Because what brings out a real woman is the power of a real man. What brings out a real woman, because a woman is nothing but women are nothing but men with wombs. That's all they are. And I said men are mental beings. Women are womental beings. Men with wombs. That's all. That was done purposely, projected purposely. Right? They're part of a vessel that fits together. They're part of a living entity and a living vessel that fits together. That's why the penis of the man fits perfectly into the vagina of the woman. They're part of a living entity and vessel that fits together. You see? And that is done by the power and the will of transmission, not submission. Not submission. When Bill Cosby, like I said, a good example that when Bill Cosby did the Cosby Show, and he showed, if y'all seen his relationship with his wife, Felicia Rashad and their children, and her being professional and things like that, that is a relationship built on transmission. Does she look like that character, Felicia Rashad, and just the type of woman that Felicia Rashad shows herself to be? Does she look like she could ever be in a submissive relationship? Does she even look like she would even be in a submissive relationship? Absolutely not. And Bill Cosby got that inspiration from him and his own wife. So obviously they got some kind of thing like that, even though he's out there being a damn nigga. But you get where I'm going with this. You get where I'm going with this. Not once did it ever look like she was in submission to somebody who was submental or simple-minded. No, not at all. Not at all did it ever look like that, because it wasn't like that. See, you females, you don't know relationships like that. All you know is, all you're used to seeing is dysfunctional relationships that's based on submission. You're used to looking at relationships of females submitting to the submental ways of males. You're used to seeing that. You see, some half-witted, some dim-wit, some simple-minded clown telling female what to do, and she being submental herself. Okay. But what happens to you women that want more? What happens to you women that want more? Do you submit to that, or do you transmit to someone higher? Do you submit to that, or do you transmit to someone higher? You transmit to someone higher if you are evolving into a real woman, because that's what real women do. Real women don't submit to men. They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to. It's already understood that the reason she is there is because she sent out the transmission. She wanted you long before you wanted her. She called out to be in a transmissive relationship because she thought higher of herself. So if she started off thinking higher of herself and wanting more for herself, then that's already a transmission that's being sent out in any man that she gets with. Now, in her female stages, she may get with a couple of males and whatnot and just, mess around with her, but she never intends to mess up her life with the males. She never intends to mess up her life with the males because she knows that a real man is around the corner. Real man is around the corner. The one who she will transmit to. The one who she has signaled to come into her life and raise her mentally, to teach her, to guide her. No man and woman are supposed to be equal. No. The man is the head of the family. Right? And the woman is in alignment with that head, is another part in the head of the family. She's part of that. Like I said, the head has to stick its face out in the front, in the forefront, as the protector, as the provider, right? So he has to be out front. She holds it down inside. The man holds it down on the outside. She holds it down on the inside. That's how it works. Some people might think that's being submissive, but it's not. It's being transmissive to what you know your true jobs are, your true roles are in life. Because in this life, we're all playing roles. In this life, we're all playing roles. Even the fool plays a role. Even the damn fool. Even the bum on the street. Even the worst devil on the planet. They play roles, man. It's all role play here, man. This is all role play. And we have already had our roles chosen for us long before we arrived here. See, this is what the people who are in transmission don't realize. Well, the people who are in submission don't realize. You see, if you don't know by now, as a female, that you should be evolving into a woman to send out that signal of transmission, and through that transmission with man comes transformation for you, because that's the man that's going to turn you into a mother, a wife, a grandmother, all these things of getting you see generation kids. That's the man you seeing with. And you're going to feel good about what comes from that union. You're going to feel excellent about it. You're going to be content with what comes from that union. Now, you look at the female who submitted to the male and his submental ways. Look at her 2 and 3 babies down the line, 2 and 3 baby daddies down the line, and by herself. Is she content? Right? Is she content? Because she was out here chasing low-grade, cheap sex. And she submitted to low-grade, cheap niggas, low-grade, cheap submental niggas she submitted to. She gave over to that submental side of herself as a female seeking excitement, seeking to so-called excitement. That's what she allowed herself to get sucked into. And she was under submission to that, her lower self. So if she's in submission to her lower self, or she allows a lower self to develop in herself, she's going to attract somebody else who is lower on a lower level. And this is what you see. This is what you see. Females who have not grown into women. You see. Females who have not grown into women. Males who have not grown into men. They have not grown into men. Because real men know how to pick up the transmission of a real woman. Real men know how to do that. They know how to pick up the transmission of a real woman. You see. The others, they don't know how to do that. They fall into alignment with things that are not real. They fall into alignment with things that are two-dimensional. They fall in alignment with an image. They fall in alignment with an image, a two-dimensional image. Like, for example, women and certain, I'm going to say males and females, they'll look at people on television, right? Entertainers, sports athletes, and whatnot, and they will start to worship these people because of their sports capability, their music. They will start to worship these people because of the image that they see from television, from radio. They start to look up to these people and worship these people and become fans of these people. And you don't even know these people. You don't know these people. But you are transfixed on a two-dimensional image of the false image they show you. That's what happens when you get in relationships. You females, you get with these males because, oh, you know, he look good, he good looking, he cute, he fine, you know, he nice, he look good, I like what he's saying, you know, surface level stuff. And then when you get into it with these people 3, 4 months, a year, 2 years down the line, you know, you can only ride the surface but for so long. You can only ride the surface but for so long because, again, after the surface starts to wear thin and you're looking for depth, you're looking for real depth to a person, real layers to a person, and that person don't have those layers, you're going to be looking to exit. You're going to be looking to exit that so-called relationship. That's when you have found out that, you know, I got into something and I submitted to something on a lower level. That's why you see these women out here, they'll be talking about, oh, I want to abstain from sex. I want to abstain from sex. I want to be celibate. Why do they say that? They say they want to be celibate because they had a whole bunch of submental and submental males going in and out of them, using them as damn semen receptacles. Just coming in them, keeping it moving, because that's all they cared about, and that's all they have allowed themselves to become. Because a lot of you females, you want to make yourself sex objects. You want to have men attracted to you, your physical parts, your body parts, and whatnot, your physical makeup. But that's what they want once you allow them to have it, or you allow one of them. All they want to do is degrade it, because they are submental. And you fall for that submental, and you become submissive to that submental state. That's why you see that thing where you see, damn, why that nice looking girl, she always want to beat them thug niggas. That girl, she look good, but she want to beat them thug niggas. Because she is submissive to the submental of males. She is submissive to the submental frequency of low-level males, because she is a low-level female. I don't give a goddamn how good she looks. I don't have plenty of low-level females who look beautiful, banging. Number 10s, as you would say, got 10s. I don't have plenty of them. I'm telling you what I know. You see? And I knew them for what they were. There was no illusion in my mind. I knew I was going to be a passing thing, not because that was what they wanted. That's because that's what I wanted. They were going to be a passing fancy. I didn't take them seriously. You see, because I wanted somebody who I could transmit, or a woman who would transmit to me, and I would be receptive to that transmission, and I could transmit back to her, where there is a greater level of understanding, where there is no arguments, there's no beef, there's no, oh, I don't want to be with you no more, or I'm bored, I don't know. I ain't got time for that, man. Real men and real women ain't got time for that foolishness. You see, real men and real women are focused on the future, man. That's it. Real men and real women are focused on the future. We ain't got time to submit to submental things and all the indecisiveness and all the back and forth. We ain't got time for that, man. That's foolishness. That's submental. Real women and real men know where they want to be in life. They're not going to accept mediocrity, not in their partners, not in their relationships, not in their children. They're not going to accept that. They're not going to accept that. That's why you see the children are mediocre. Because the female, and I'm calling her a female, I'm not even going to call her a woman. She ain't earned the status and the title of being a woman. The female, because of her submental and submissive ways, to submental actions of male, because of that, when she gets with these low-level males, and there's offspring of children, she doesn't push those children to become anything. She don't never push the children to become anything. If they should happen to become something, you know, and that one of a tenth of a million or what, if they should ever happen to become anything, that's only because of it being an exception to the rule. But the exceptions don't set the rules. So if that special person got through and whatnot, but it's an odd thing. Usually, mediocre females who are seeking that to be submissive to submentals, they're usually going to raise below average or just average children. That's all they can hope for 9 times out of 10. That's all they can hope for. And if they raise those, a lot of times they raise those children. A lot of times those children are mentally unstable. They have mental issues. They have social issues. They got all types of issues because they may not have had that parent, that father in their life, or that mother in their life, or whoever they needed in their life to make that transmission that was set in their life, so that the man, once he got to a certain age, he knew how to be receptive to a woman who was transmitting to him, and the woman knew how to transmit to a man who would raise her up on a level. You see, they have to see that. Children have to see that in their parents. They have to see a transmissive union in their parents, not a submissive one. They have to see a transmissive relationship, a transmissive and working order amongst their mother and father, not some submissive one. Not some submissive one, because children can pick up when you're not content. They can pick up when you are content. They can always pick it up. Because what does that thing say? When a woman ain't happy, she's going to make sure everybody miserable. How they say it? If she ain't happy, and like I said, I'm just using happy as, for lack of a better word, because of the saying, even though I say there's no such thing as really happiness and sadness, because ultimately we're supposed to be seeking contentment. But that comes with a working order, and that comes with a transmissive and a higher level form of reception and thinking. That's what that comes with. Because if that's not what it's going to be, then there's no use in doing that. Many women are not going to ever go through that or have that. Many men are not going to have that because they were not patient enough to wait for that. And when they got it in their life, they passed it up. When it came into their life, they passed it up. You see? They passed it up. They didn't realize what it was that it was what it was. That you get this transmissive connection one time in your life. You get it one time in your life. You don't get it 2 and 3 times in your life. You get it once. Why only once? Because the most major thing, if you're going to get something major that's going to happen in your life, how you look getting it 2 and 3 times? You can get a whole bunch of little submissive, little random, little hookups and things like that. You get that all the time. But it's that one big thing that makes you go, okay, I'm going to have children with this person. I'm going to go and do this with this person. You're only going to get that one time in your life. You're only going to get that one time in your life. That's that saying. A lot of these females, they said they always met that one guy that they let go. You ever heard women say that I let this one guy let go, and then they end up settling for him, and they mad at the guy they end up settling for and getting with, and they angry at the guy they let go. The man who they transmitted to, they get mad at that. The guy is like, damn, I should have stayed with him. Or the guy said, damn, I should have stayed with her. You see? Because he didn't recognize that what she was transmitting to. And again, sometimes certain men are not able to rise to that. Certain men are not able to rise to that. Sometimes certain men are still males inside. They haven't grown into men. It's a long journey for a male to grow into a man. It's an even shorter journey for a female to grow into a woman. She grows into a woman almost damn near instantaneously. Now, if she just because she decides to remain a female, right, that's on her. But she evolves into a woman much faster than the man evolves into a man, than the male evolves into a man. You see? And this is why, like I said, sometimes she'll come off as a certain way because to her companions, because she is constantly looking for that transmission. She is constantly looking for that higher frequency. You see, That's what she's looking for. And a lot of women spend their time out here looking for that higher transmissive frequency. But when they find it, they come into alignment with it, and they make the best wives, mothers, business women, complete all-around women. Happy. Or, excuse me, content. I don't like to use the word happy. Content. They're satisfied with their life and what's going and how their life is going. They're satisfied with that. You can see the contentment in their face versus the female who pissed off, she angry, you know, she hate her life, she don't like children, she don't like nothing, you know what I'm saying? She just, you know, she's just a ball of confusion and emotion. She bitter because of the bad decision she made. She ain't got nobody to blame for herself for the bad decision she made. We are all held accountable for the bad decisions we make in life. We held accountable for that. Ain't nobody else's fault. If you get with a guy who ain't nothing, that's your fault for getting with him. If you get with a girl who ain't nothing, that's your fault for getting with her. Ain't her fault. I'm pretty sure he or she let you know what they was about early ahead of time. That whether they were about something or not. You chose to cater to that submissive mindset and get with these people. That's what you chose to do. That's your fault. You chose to cater to that. You chose to cater to that submissive mindset. You chose to use that submissive mindset to attract submental people. And that's what happened. You got what you asked for. So like I said, when you see these chicks out here who baby mama, that's what you want to be. You are what you become. It's what you want to be. Wherever you are in life, that's where you want to be. That's what you chose to be. You see? You women, you men, you males, you females, I'm speaking in four, you have to realize that if you don't evolve from a female into a woman, that's your fault. If you don't evolve from a man from a male into a man, that's your fault. If you don't ever find that transmissive connection, that's your fault. Because you chose to constantly move in a submissive one. To submental, that's what you chose. And you will always constantly be after something new because you think there's something new to come around the corner, but it's never nothing new. It's always the same thing. It's always the same thing, different faces that you're going to be asked to submit to. It's always going to be the same thing. And then eventually you'll just submit to it because you'll be like, well, damn, I'm getting older. I'm not getting no younger. You know, I don't really like this person. He all right. Yeah, I really don't like this person. He all right. But, you know, and he halfway intelligent and he halfway saying stuff. He cute and everything. I don't need to get with him. I'll make it work. That's not good. That is not good. You should always shoot for the highest mentally. The highest. You should always shoot for the highest mentally. Right? That's what you should always shoot for. The one who's mentally the highest, whose mind is extensive. All that, you know, the looks and the everything else, the physical and all that. Like I said, you can get 1,000 good-looking people. That don't mean nothing. A lot of good-looking people out there. You can always get better-looking people. That don't mean nothing. Trust me, it don't. It don't mean nothing. Because even the people that get caught up in all the looks part and or how life ain't, of course you don't want nobody who you not, you know, physically, you don't find physically appealing to. Of course I'm not going to say you're going to get with somebody like that, but they nice looking, they decent looking. Man, that's all that's needed, man. All that pretty and handsome, that good, great looking, all that stuff is overrated, man. That's like I said, it's like you know, if you submit to that, it shows the mindset of you as a person. That you're a low-level person. You like the person that buy the new BMW, and then the BMW, after a year, 2 years, you still looking at the BMW like, this is my BMW. You're like, it's old now. It's a car now. Because that's what people become over time when you just look at them as physical, and you submit to that. It becomes old over time. That's all. Ain't much transmission to that. ain't much of an exchange to that. Always keep that in mind. There's not much of a exchange to that. You get nothing from that. We'll be right back. And we're back. See, the whole point of this is to set the, set the path for future relationships. Everything I teach, I want people to understand that everything I teach is for preparation into the fourth dimension. The knowledge I'm giving my people for here is not for this dimension. It is meant to make us extend this dimension as a community, to ascend this dimension as a community. That's why I teach. This is going to be the foundation on which future relationships are going to be based. See, when you look back and you saw your mother and your father when they were, if you come from a harmonious type of working, people who have been in a harmonious and working relationship, when you come from that, people who are wanting to play their roles, when you come from that, when you are a part of something like that, then you understand what that means going forward, how that has to be regenerated and reestablished, and it had to be given the name of transmission. A woman should be in transmission to a man. A woman should be in transmission to a man, not submission. It only raises her. Submission doesn't raise anybody. Submission raises no one. So how the hell can you have somebody in submission to you? That means you plan to keep them under you. There's no under. There's no over. There's just constant and continuous movement forward and alignment together. See, that's this game in the three-dimensional world they play. And again, Mentellect is here for the ascension of the three-dimensional realm. What we learned in this three-dimensional realm, we're going to have to unlearn. What we have learned about relationships, the rules of engagement, right? Where there should be no rules of engagement, there should be laws of engagement, laws. Because with laws of engagement comes orders of engagement. See, structure. Orders and orders are two different things. When there is rule and order, orders are just loud and empty words. When there's rule and order, order just becomes loud, empty words. Chaotic. But when there's law with orders, then the order becomes not just empty, loud words. They become structure that makes sense. It becomes living structure that makes sense. So the law or the laws of engagement have to be put in place. And the first law that's being put in place by us as mentalists in the fourth dimension is that women should transmit to men. Women should transmit to men. We are saying this from a fourth dimensional mind frame, that women should always transmit to that one man that she will be with for her lifetime, because that is the only man that was sent to her. Everybody else is going to be males. Everybody else is going to be males. You see, when she understands that, she can zero in on and focus in on more of a active and extended and a fruitful relationship. And her children get to see that. Our children get to see that. They don't get to see drama. They don't get to see, I got two different baby daddies, three different baby. My brother got a different father. My mother. No, they don't get to see that. They get to see a harmonious union. They get to see a strong and harmonious union of people who ain't got time to be happy and sad because they working and they're content in their movement and their work. You see. When you submit to wanting to be excited in your life, when you submit to happiness, you're going to eventually submit to sadness. I'm going to say it again in case y'all didn't hear me or understand where I'm coming from. When you submit to happiness, aka seeking out happiness in your life and submitting your all and giving your all to happiness, you will eventually have to submit to sadness. And if you submit to these low-level dimensions of emotion, if you submit to these, you will constantly be caught in that loop over and over and over again, and you will continuously remain a female. You will not grow into a woman. A true woman is a woman of purpose. A true woman is a woman of transmission, not submission. That's what a true woman is, one of transmission, not submission. And she looks for the man who she can transcend with mentally, the man who can teach her, guide her, raise her. Think about this. When a woman leaves her father, what does it look like? Shouldn't she be leaving to go into a man who can take her on another level mentally than her father did? So how the hell is she going to be with a man who is lower or lesser than her father? He's supposed to be greater than her father, meaning mentally being able to take her to a next level. Not saying he's, supposed to, replace. That's always going to be her foundation, but he has to be on a higher level than her father. How are you going to get with a man who is not on a greater level or on a greater level than your own father? It's like you are disgracing your foundation and what you come from. You're disgracing your foundation. You're already starting to work backwards. That's why fathers would arrange marriages and they would give their daughters to men. Because the fathers had to scrutinize whether the man would be good for his daughter. If you left it up to the women, you know what I'm saying, being that they were young, they were in that female stage, right? And they would just be picking whoever, I like him because he look good. I like him, he cute. I like how he talk. They start falling into that submissive and shallow grave of submental infatuation and connection. Like I said, if you look at the mind of the female, a lot of times the average female, her mind don't even grow to, stop thinking of looking at men as, or males as when she was in high school, college, and whatnot. She still thinks it's the same thing. That's why she keeps, getting disappointed in the males that she links up with. And she eventually becomes, like I said, she gets that spark of clarity when she, eventually realizes that she was somebody who was not part of that transmissive connection that she wanted to send out, that's not on a higher level mentally. When she sees he's on a lower level mentally, she starts to rebel. She's like, I ain't trying to submit to you. That's where the whole fight comes in at. That's where the fight comes in at. When she with this guy and she see he ain't going nowhere, and she's like, okay, I'm being told I have to submit to this. But the problem is she don't want to submit to this. And she don't want to submit to it because, number one, she's not supposed to submit. She's supposed to transmit. And number two, she don't want to submit or transmit to somebody who's on a submental level. She don't want to. She wants somebody that's going to raise her on another level. Iron sharpens iron. If she's raising to another level, if she is looking for guidance, because that's what women do. Women seek guidance in men. I'm going to just say it like that. They want men who know more. They seek guidance in men. So how the hell are you going to submit to that? You're going to transmit to it. You're going to transmit to it. You're going to signal the man. You're going to signal the man to be part of that mission and thus grow your mission in alignment with that man. That's what you do. That's what women do. Real women. Females, they submit. Females, they submit. They submit to broken males. They submit to broken males. They submit to mediocre males. They submit to relationships that's based on settling. That's what they submit to. Right? And they'll sit up there and they'll just be, they'll be miserable. Over time, they will be miserable. Because, again, once the infatuation wears off, when the infatuation stage goes, right, because that's usually how y'all get caught in the submental. You stay and you get in the infatuation stage, and the infatuation stage usually wears off in about 5 or 6 months, if not less than that. You done slept with this person, you done been with them, the mystery of how they are done wore off, you done did this, that, and the third, and you like, you see, they ain't talking about nothing. So then you have to have something to bridge that gap right after the infatuation is worn off. You have to have something to bridge the gap. It has to be something to bridge the gap into that higher state. And if it's not there, then the woman's going to leave. She's going to move on. It's only but so long she's going to take y'all being equal, and she knows just as much as you, and you know, y'all equal, and y'all know the same. That's not going to feed her, man. She's going to be like, I want somebody who know more than me. Somebody can teach me. Not just have sex with me, but somebody can actually teach me. And a lot of you males come up short. A lot of you males come up short. And the female ends up settling for being with you. And then she regrets settling for being with you and being submissive to you and submitting to that submental side of herself that would let her be with somebody like you who's mediocre, who got all these excuses, who's not a high achiever. Then she makes your life a living hell. Then she goes and starts acting like a damn demon, because she mad at herself for being with you, but she ain't mad at herself for being with you. If that makes sense what I just said. She mad at herself for being with you, meaning really she mad at herself for choosing you, but she ain't mad at the submental part of it. Right? She's mad at the submissive part, not the submental part. But they go hand in hand. Both of them go hand in hand. You see, both of them go hand in hand. Because you're only going to submit to that which is submental. You're going to transmit to that which is transmental. Something that can be transferred into a higher state of mental transference. Transference. Transference is key in any extended relationship. It ain't happiness. Happiness ain't necessary. Happiness ain't necessary. Because if you accept happiness, you accept sadness. You can go from being happy to sad and back to happy and sad, back and forth. So that don't mean nothing. Those are not even real. You got women who submit to happiness and sadness, and all a guy got to do is make you happy, make you laugh and smile and say things that get you up under that submental and submissive state of mind. And then when you have submitted, when you've given yourself over to that person, and you see that the fun and games is over, the infatuation is worn off, you looking to move on. But it's 15, 20 years later, you got a bunch of children, you done moved on, and next thing you know, you're looking to be with somebody else, and you're going to go right through the same thing again. You're going to go through it again. Because it's hard to find men who are going to deal with other men's children. It's hard. It's hard to find that out here. You see, that's why when males are the first ones that are running up to you trying to get in your pants, because they trying to put their bid in early. In other words, they trying to mess your life up early. Males try to mess up your life early. That's why they want to be the first one to have sex with you. They want to be the first one to claim you, get you pregnant, and things like that. But then, and you in your gullible state as a female, you're okay. You're okay. And next thing you know, that happened, then you ain't happy no more. The infatuation is gone. It's getting old now. He can't keep real jobs. He ain't got no real ambition in life. He got a mediocre job. You want more out of life. You just like, man. I wanted so more for myself. And all you got to blame is yourself, because again, when you ain't got somebody to support you, what you're trying to do, that's really trying to, be a be a what's the word I want to say? A support system for what you're trying to do and accomplish in your life. That is, again, somebody who you submitted to, a submental person who didn't understand what it is that you require to grow. Because just like a flower that needs to grow, so does a woman. She needs to grow. She needs the correct water, meaning the knowledge, light, again, knowledge, food, again, knowledge. That's what she needs to grow. Knowledge, and more knowledge. And that can only be given by a man. I'm going to just say it like that. That ain't going to be something she going to learn over time. And she going through she ain't learning a goddamn thing over time. Because anything that she sees over time, it's always going to be because she hasn't evolved into that woman. She hasn't been evolved into that woman by dealing with a real man who bring that out of her. Everything is always going to be seen from a female perspective. When you deal with a real man who has experience and you have a transmissive connection with that man, then you start to see things through the eyes of a woman. Your eyes as a woman cuts on, because a man going to take you through things in life. A real man is going to take a real woman through things in her life as she wants, as part of her transmissive connection to desire a man to teach and raise her. That's when she's going to start to see things as a real woman. That's when. Don't tell me about these females out here who always talking about what it is to be a real woman. No. There's a lot of females out there who playing like they women. All these sis stars and all this other stuff, those are females. A lot of them are a bunch of old-ass females who ain't never been women, who ain't never been with no real men. But they want to tell you about what it is to be a woman. No, they want to try to basically bait you back into being bitter old females like, we'll be right back. So always keep this in mind. Always keep this in mind. There was a lady that was on here years ago. I don't know if y'all remember her. Maybe 2 years ago. I think she was a Caucasian lady. She just happened to come across me doing a relationship broadcast. And how many of y'all remember this broadcast? She talked about how she was a nurse and her husband, they were together for years. And her husband ended up leaving her for some cokehead, she said, alcoholic chick, and moved into her place with her and left her. And they lived really dirty and whatever she was saying. I remember this lady, and she was telling her how she missed her husband. She wanted him to come back and whatnot. And she was explaining this to me. And I told her he ain't never coming back. And she couldn't get over it. She said, well, what do you think I should do to get him back? Should I start smoking and getting, and sniffing coke and doing? I said, no, that's what he found, what he always wanted to be. See, he showed you that he was a degenerate, and because you was infatuated with him, you ignored that. But then when you wanted to keep going along and you wanted to advance, he didn't want to. He didn't want to. It wasn't in him to advance and evolve. You see, he wanted to devolve. I was just putting in mind of that lady that called, and I don't know why I thought about her in this, but it seemed very appropriate, very apropos that she popped into my mind. Because, again, putting this energy into happiness and sadness and submissiveness in these relationships is a waste of time and energy. Fighting with somebody over who's going to be the head and the reins and the rule and whatnot. Like I said, the woman has no problem when she is secure. The woman should have no problem with letting her man lead when she is secure in his leadership. When she is secure in his leadership, that he's making the money, he's taking care, he assures her that he got that. He got the money, he could take care of her, the children that come out, things like that. Once he has made her secure, there should be no type of pushback. There shouldn't be no vying for control. You accept his role as the head. And what's key to the man, you must accept your role as the head of the family. You must accept that. The man is the head of the family. And that's the role he plays. The woman works in alignment with that head, and therefore she's a part of the head. Because she works in alignment with it. It's all one body, one mind, one entity. She's a part of that entity. You see? And they must function as such. Because without that, there's nothing but dysfunction. There's nothing but dysfunction when it's not there. When a woman is basically willing to play her role in a man's life, and she is secure that that man is dependable, that she could depend on that man money-wise, to guide her, to keep her emotions at bay. Like a lot of you women, to overcome with your emotions, you need a man who is a steady and focused and logical thinker to keep your mind level. That's another thing you seek in your transmission toward men. You don't want emotional men. You want logical, rational men who will keep you sane. That's what you as women want. You want strong, logical, and rational men who will keep you sane. You do not want a male to get on your level and get emotional with you. And a lot of you, unfortunately, have gotten connected with a lot of these bitch-made male effeminates, which I'm going to do a broadcast on these male effeminates, probably do it tomorrow, where y'all done got in alignment with these bitch-made male effeminates. Y'all done got in alignment and start letting these bitch-made male effeminates breathe. You see? And you're just going to make it bad for the next generation of young women coming up, because they're not going to have any companions. This right here truly is the generation of young niggas that's going to be in dresses and wearing pink sweatshirts and goddamn do-rags that's really women's headscarves. Y'all seen that with these little niggas now? These new do-rags they got for these little young niggas? They really women's headscarves. You see, trying to straight effeminize you bronze men. But this is what you are giving rise to. This is what you're giving rise to. You're giving rise to people like this. Why? Because you have submitted to the submental. You have submitted to the submental. You have refused to transmit to the upper mental. A lot of you have refused to transmit to the upper mental. You see, you got real women who would rather be one of other women to an upper mental being than the one woman to a submental one. I told you that before. You got women out here who would rather be one of the women to an upper mental being than a one woman to the submental one. Because see, there's more longevity. There's more, what's the word I want to say? There's more dependability and being with that upwardly mental man. Being with that upwardly mental man, there's more longevity, there's more dependability, and there's more protection and all the things that you want to be secure as women into your elder years. And you want families with these men. You know they will be fathers to your children. You know they will take care of you. You know they will take hold of and keep everything in line. You can depend on these men. And like I said, you're only going to get that one time in your life. What you're going to get after that is a bunch of beta male effeminates. This is what you're going to get. Guys who will start arguing and screaming with you in the damn street like a female. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to attract. Males who want to justify being mediocre in life and not exceptional. That's what you're going to get. Males who are doing nothing and accomplishing nothing in their lives. That's what you're going to get. And expect you to submit to that. Expect you to submit to that. You see? Of course, course, openly you don't want to, end up doing it anyway. You end up doing it anyway because once you get to a certain point in your life and you get older in your life, you start to settle in your life. That's why it's good to establish yourself as women early as possible, to get that all out the way. You shouldn't want to be dating in your 30s and in your 40s and all that other BS. You shouldn't want to be doing that, trying to meet and get with guys in your 30s and your 40s and all this other stuff and meeting. Come on, man. That's played out. When I hear these females talking about they dating, you in your goddamn 30s and 40s, you should be somewhere married with your children, with some man already, with a man already with children and whatever the case may be. That's what you should be. Or you still dating in your 30s and 40s? Come on with that. You see. But again, if you wisely choose the man, you women, to transmit to, then you won't have this problem. I promise you that. We're not going to have these issues as we're going forward as a community. We're not going to have that. You see. We're not going to have those issues of, connections and relationships and misunderstandings going forward with real men and real women. We're not going to have that. See, that only come about when there's no transmission, there's no transmissive connection. There's a submissive one. That's where things fall apart. Things get misunderstood, lost in translation. People, they up in arms, they get upset. All of the things that happen. You see. And people do it to themselves all the time. People set themselves up all the time. People align themselves with submissive thinking all the time. I don't want a submissive woman. I want a transmissive woman. I've had plenty of submissive women. Now, I want a transmissive, one who falls in alignment and thus aligns themselves and has everything and brings growth to everything that they are in alignment with. Because, see, submissive ones, they'll only be submissive for a while. They will only be submissive. Because a lot of times, when you women trying to play like you submissive, a lot of times it's a damn act anyway. Because y'all always have that alter ego with y'all. That destructive alter ego with a lot of you women, y'all have that where you will destroy relationships. And I get why you do that, because you are in submissive ones. But what happens after that is 9 times 10 you go to another submissive one. And then you destroy that, then you go to another submissive one. And you looking for a way out, and you don't realize the reason why there's no way out is because you're going in circles. You're going in submissive circles. Sub-circles. Sub-mental circles is what you're going in. When the answer is the linear and transmissive line or state out and up, above and beyond. That is where your thoughts must be cast. That is where everything will come into alignment and make sense. So let me go ahead and read these questions before we get out of here. Should women submit to men? No. Women should transmit to men, meaning that you should be sending out messages and communicating with men on the highest frequency, that one man who is going to extend your life. You don't put that transmission out to many men. You put it out focal on one. You put it out in that one. You're not looking for multiple men to take up with. See, because that is the submissive one. The submissive transmission is, you could grab all the submental males up, all the low-level males up. It's like blowing a goddamn dog whistle. You blow the dog whistle, all these dogs don't come after a while. So you blow the submissive or send out that submissive frequency, then that means all the submentals will come to you. And you will find yourself submitting to people who are degenerates. What is submission? Submission is the undercurrent of somebody else's mission. That is the secondary current to somebody else's real mission. And if you're dealing with somebody who ain't got no mission, then you just put yourself under nothing, which is what a lot of you females have done. What is transmission? Again, that is a frequency and a tone that goes back and forth, that exchanges, I should say, with one another. An exchange first starts the mental exchange, then the physical exchange. And that exchange can continue forever. Should men submit to women? No. No submission to nobody. Transmission is the key. Definitely as we're moving forward in the fourth dimension. What does it mean to submit to the submental? That means basically submit to your lower self. And this is why you get the lower level people in. You still submitting to males like a female. And you're not transmitting to the man that you're supposed to be with. Ultimately, that's what women are supposed to do, real women. And that's it. We're going to close out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual NUBEN MENKARAYZZ. This has been Mentellect Radio. See you guys back here tomorrow at 10. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that